Because You Know Us, where Louise and I talk about entertainment and pop culture news that happened during the week that we found interesting. And the only reason you're watching right now is probably because you know us.
Most likely.
So the first thing we're going to talk about is Entertainment Weekly released the top 50 most watched shows of 2013-2014. So the number one show is NFL Sunday Night Football. That's the number one show watched weekly from 2013. 21.6 million people watched that show.
I don't know how they call it a show. It's a game. It's a live event.
It's a sports event, but it still counts as a show because advertisers, they look at these numbers and they advertise the show.
There's no acting.
Right.
There's no... It's not.
But there's no acting in reality shows either. Like Survivor, there's no acting and stuff like that.
I don't know.
What I don't get is that NCIS and NCIS LA are numbers 3 and 4. I know a lot of people.
Have you ever watched it?
I've never seen a single episode of either one. And I know a lot of people, and I bet if I asked any of them, none of them would say...
Because I've heard this before, that their main demographic is like 30s, 40s. Ladies in their 30s, 40s, or older, love NCIS.
My mom has never... Has your mom ever seen this show? Does your mom watch NCIS?
I don't know, maybe.
Does she even watch TV?
Mom, do you watch NCIS? No? Didn't think so.
What really interests me is that the number 2 show in America is The Big Bang Theory. 19.9 million. I don't like that show. I don't like it.
It's one of my brother's favorite shows. Which
I don't get it.
There are funny okay, for
me...
The
number 2 show in America.
The fact that Sheldon, he is the character. He is the moneymaker. He is why people watch that show.
That Jim Parsons character?
Yes. He's so funny. Like, the way he delivers his stuff. And I think the other characters kind of raise up a little bit because of him.
Yeah.
If take him out of that equation, I don't think you have anything.
Big Bang Theory is number 2, and then the next sitcom is all the way down at 21, Modern Family. All the shows in between are like Scandal, Grey's, Castle, Criminal Minds, Blue Bloods, Resurrections, all these dramas. That's what people watch. Mm-hmm. And the Big Bang Theory.
Well, Grey's Anatomy number 17, I think that's crazy that Shonda Rhimes' show Scandal, which is the big thing everybody's talking about, everybody watches it, you know, and yet Grey's Anatomy, which has been out for like a decade.
Right, that's what's interesting, is some of these shows that get a lot of buzz do not get the ratings.
But wait, The Bachelor...
Oh, yeah, The Bachelor's number 35, which people talk about The Bachelor
constantly,
all over the place.
Lots of people. Like, I teach high school. My kids talk about The Bachelor and The Bachelorette. The people that I work with who are, you know, middle-aged ladies.
Not even, it's 9.5 million. Number 1 is 21.6. So not even half as many people watch that, according to these ratings, as watch NFL Sunday Night Football. You want to talk about The Bachelorette?
Yeah!
Just started. Speaking of The Bachelor, on to its next season.
The last Bachelor, from The Bachelor for the last season, Juan Pablo, he was kind of a tool bag.
Yeah, no one liked him. I mean, he was universally disliked.
He's kind of dumb. I think he's kind of dumb.
Yeah.
And not only that, he's kind of a pig. This, like, sex-crazed idiot. and then he was just, not great. And so the girl who is now the Bachelorette from his season, she was, like, number 4 or something, or, like, the third one kicked out.
Well, she got to the overnights. Andy Dorfman.
Dorfman, that's just unfortunate. She needs to get married just to get rid of Dorfman.
Yeah.
But Andy, she seems like a very strong, confident lady who I didn't really dislike her when she was on Juan Pablo's season, but she wasn't someone that I was like, I connect with this girl. Mm-hmm. She's a lawyer. Pretty sure she's a lawyer.
DA.
Yeah, she's district attorney. That's right. I just have seen the first one. That's all that is aired so far, is the first where she meets all the guys.
Yeah.
And I thought overwhelmingly there were less attractive men than there usually are.
Less interesting guys.
That too. Usually they have... Well, there was one, the pants maker. He made it.
Pantrepreneur?
Pantrepreneur, that's what they called him.
It's embarrassing.
Yeah.
I wonder if they pick their job or if they assign them...
Like if they're like, what do you do for a living? I'm a... Make pants. How do I make that more interesting?
Pantrepreneur.
Pantrepreneur! And they're like, okay. I don't know. I have no idea how it works. But,
Well, plus there's just something about guys that... They don't seem as excited, I guess, as the girls. Like, because the girls are like, I feel like their eyes are like crazy eyes. Like, they need to get this
They need to
guy.
do anything.
But the guys are just like, I'm on TV, look at that hot girl.
Well,
like,
okay, here's my thing. The guys, and I mentioned this while we were watching it the other night, where you're sitting there and you're watching 25, I think that's the amount they choose, 25 guys sitting in this big living room open area, and then the girl walks in her beautiful gown that's usually form-fitting yet classy, She walks in and they're all like, drinks, oh, Desiree. No, not Desiree, sorry, what's her face? Andy, oh, you're beautiful. But then, like, the camera will pan across them while she's standing there like, I am so thankful that you're all here, and I know you put your lives on hold, and they're all just like...
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
The creepy face! Can you imagine 25 guys doing that? How uncomfortable. Like, you're
because they're not thinking, you look so beautiful.
Your hair must have taken hours. It's gorgeous. Your eyes are sparkling. No, they're like, hey,
cleavage. Do I
hot
see?
tub, you and me later. Like, it's so skeezy. It gets to a skeezy point, and the girls are all like, like they're creepy when they're there, but something about like this skeezy look on the guys' faces.
Next up, we've got earlier this week they announced the official title of DC's big event movie, Warner Brothers DC's big event movie for 2015, Batman and Superman.
Was there an unofficial title?
It was called Man of Steel 2, then Batman/Superman, then Batman vs. Superman, and now the official title is Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice.
They were maybe going to title this Batman/Superman.
That was just, the easy way to reference the movie before they got a title.
Did they spell out the slash, or?
No, it was just a slash.
That was pretty cool.
But I don't like it.
Dawn of Justice, you don't like it?
No, it's...
I get more of a Batman-y feel from it.
It sounds like a coffee.
Folgers, Dawn of Justice.
Yeah, it sounds like a coffee, and I don't like that they dropped the S in verses. Why do that? I mean, Batman v Superman... You don't have to put the period. I mean, just the S. It looks like a Roman numeral with just the V.
Batman 5, Superman, Dawn of Justice.
But what bothers me a little bit is that this is officially the sequel to Man of Steel. Like, this is Superman 2, but they're marketing it like like Batman gets the lead, and the lead in the title, and like his logo is biggest here. And it was a huge deal of what Batman's going to look like. It's turning into
Batman's colors. You see a little bit of the Superman, like,
that's a good point.
Gold
red,
and it's very like
it's
dark
Dark
Batman.
Knight. Yeah. And
well, wait, real quick. You said Dark Knight. Is this supposed to? And maybe some of you don't know this as well. Like, is this like a Christian Bale kind of a Batman?
No, this is a complete reboot, a complete rehaul of Batman. This is a new Batman. Ben Affleck is a Bruce Wayne we've never seen before. He's playing a completely different character.
But the Superman is the same guy from Man of Steel.
Superman is
that world is all the same.
So they're building, and this is an allusion to. I mean, it's got to be Dawn of Justice, an allusion to the Justice League movie, which has also been announced.
Yeah.
Or just Dawn of Justice. Like, why even make it a Superman sequel? Just make a whole new movie.
We know it's Superman and Batman.
Exactly.
Just Dawn of Justice.
Dawn of Justice. I love that.
That's good. That's good. I agree.
So our next news is, it's kind of like spoilery news, so if you don't want any spoilers about the new Jurassic World movie coming out, which is the fourth movie in the Jurassic Park series, just skip forward a little bit. But I'm not very excited about what's come out.
I'm excited about Chris Pratt.
Chris Pratt's awesome. Chris Pratt's in this movie.
I don't know Chris Pratt. I don't know him at all. I care about him as a person.
But he's become this huge movie star.
I know. Like, I'm so happy for him. It's so weird. Like, I don't know this person, but I'm like, you are succeeding. Let's high five. Like, I love him. He's so likable.
This is the supposed plot of the movie, okay? There'll be lots of dino-on-dino fighting, and some of the dinos are good guys.
Sounds like weird porn. Dino-on-dino.
That are trained by Chris Pratt's character. The raptors and T-Rex are among the trained good dinosaurs. The big bad dinosaur has instant camouflage abilities like the cuttlefish. I don't know what that is.
That's kind of cool, though.
So he blends into the background, is smart like the velociraptor, uses his jaw like a snake, and can terrorize like the T-Rex. That's so dumb. I don't like the idea that the whole plot of the first movie is that nature cannot be controlled.
Right.
You cannot put these animals into these pens and expect to, like, they were the top of the food chain.
Right.
Like, we can't control them. So the idea, unless there's some kind of brain chip, and but that's so science fiction-y, I don't like that. What was cool about Jurassic Park is that it treats it as if it was real without going into too much science fiction.
Sure.
Like, they explain the DNA splicing, they explain all that stuff, and now they're a dinosaur. But I just don't like the idea of this giant super dinosaur that's like this like composite of all these different animals, and Chris Pratt's like sending out raptors to attack, and
but they're already, like you were saying, the T-Rex and all those were already at the top of it. Why does there have to be some sort of like hybrid of that? That doesn't make any sense.
And Jurassic World is like the name of this park, like. Jurassic Park, and now it's like kind of like Disneyland, Disney World.
Okay.
So it's like Jurassic World is not just the name of the movie, it's also the name of this park, which has become this resort with a monorail, and there's like exhibits and stuff, and so it's this big thing, and so I like the idea of an established park being terrorized.
Yeah.
And like people running and like kids and stuff like that. That could be really intense and scary.
There are lots of different sub things that could be happening, like subplots. I mean, as far as like it's such a big place that there's something happening over here and something completely happening over here different. Because
and they all kind of meet up at the end.
Something.
Speaking of monster movies, Godzilla opened last weekend, which I loved. And
I fell asleep. This speaks volumes. I hate being cold in movie theaters, and I forgot a blanket, so I was cold. It's Friday after a long week of teaching. I'm exhausted. I'm in and out, like napping in the movie. But Bryan Cranston, even though he's got a short part, love me some Bryan Cranston. He could just stand there and say things, and I'd be like, I believe everything that's happening.
Well, that movie needed him. I feel so like without him, you don't really have any stand out.
Because he's so believable with what he's saying, and he's so fervent about it.
Right,
that,
he sells it. He sells
so much. So you're bought in, like it just off the bat. You feel that way. But the guy who played his son was who?
Aaron Tyler Johnson from Kick-Ass.
His voice is too high for me. I don't understand it. I don't know why his voice is just, it should be lower.
Yeah.
You're this big burly man.
He kind of comes off as a kid.
Yes, even now where they packed on like 20 pounds of like muscle to him or something. Like it doesn't, I wasn't a big fan of him. I didn't care for him in the movie so much.
Anyway, America loved the movie too. It's grossed $200 million worldwide and $93 million in its first weekend.
That's
and
crazy.
so the news is that they're officially announced a sequel. They said before, they got asked a lot, Legendary is the production company that owns Godzilla, the rights to Godzilla. And they said, we're not announcing anything until we see how the opening weekend goes. And so it's official. They're working on Godzilla 2. And the guy who directed this movie is also signed on for the second and third movie. I just wanted to call out that it did amazingly in its opening. Like it did better than Amazing Spider-Man 2 did. It did better in its opening week than Skyfall. The first original trilogy Spider-Man 2, Hangover Part 2, Thor, it's right behind Captain America the Winter Soldier, so...
Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone, it beat the first Harry Potter movie. I think that's cool.
Yeah, I mean, it did really well. Okay, before we move on to this, I want to show you this video. This is... Did you ever watch Boy Meets World?
I, TGIF.
Okay.
That was the thing.
So, they released this week the opening title sequence to Girl Meets World. Which is the spin-off / sequel
where
to
Topanga and Corey are the parents.
They're married and they have a daughter and a son, I believe.
That looks very much like made for Disney Channel kid thing.
And to me, the weakest part of that show was Corey Matthews. I never liked him. I always thought he was a schlub.
A schlub.
Yeah.
Well, I liked him and Topanga. I loved his best friend Sean.
Right, every girl
great.
did.
Oh, he was such a cutie pie. But also, like, his demeanor and his whatever, I don't care. Like, that was fun. And his older brother was really funny. Mm-hmm. Not Sean's older brother, but Corey's older brother. Mm-hmm. I don't remember his name. But Topanga, that dynamic with Corey worked. I guess you're right. Corey was kind of the... He was
like the straight man for everyone else to bounce their jokes off of.
But I mean, Mr. Feeney.
He was the Jason Bateman.
His parents were pretty funny from what I remember. Granted, I was younger, so maybe it was actually stupid. Who knows?
Why not make your own? It's obviously for
we
fans
are the ones
of
who
the
grew
show.
up with that. Why not do something for us? We would watch that. You know?
Yeah.
That'd be so cool. Anyway, whatever.
Okay, so what are we doing? The Disney on Ice next? So it was announced that Frozen is going to get the Disney on Ice in treatment in the Disney goal to completely saturate every ounce of pop culture with Frozen. Now that she's on Once Upon a Time now and Disney on Ice.
Now I think this is ironic and funny. Disney on Ice. Are they going to make are they going to draw attention to the fact that Elsa's turned this to ice? Let's skate on it.
I'm sure it's going to be a big part of it.
Because think about it, on ice, they never reference that in like Little Mermaid. They're under the sea, right? Or like Aladdin, I don't know if that ever happened, but you know what I mean? They never reference the fact that we are on ice. It's just that show on ice or something, you know?
In 2008, 12.5 million people attended one of 15 productions of Disney on Ice. But what's interesting is that Broadway as a whole sold 12.3 million tickets. So it sells more tickets than Broadway does.
That's insane. Come on.
Yeah. All of Broadway put together still doesn't sell as many tickets as Disney on Ice does.
I bet kids love it. I bet that's kind of a thing, but I think it sounds like if I hear Frozen one more time, I'll start stabbing people.
So we're gonna close with this interesting bit.
This is ridiculous.
Every year, Webster adds new words to its dictionary. This year, it added the new definition of catfish in reference to the super popular show and movie. The official definition that will go along with the type of fish that has a large head and long thin parts that look like a cat's whiskers around its mouth will be refers to a person who sets up a false social networking profile for deceptive purposes. Does this need to be in the dictionary?
I appreciate that they're not taking out the real definition of catfish and inserting this in its
no such
place.
thing as catfish anymore. It's
We're going to
only
rename
this.
that fish for this bottom feeder. I'm torn because it's something that my frustration with it, I think, is that when people, English is not their first language and they are learning English, I feel like we look like idiots sometimes where we're like, oh, Webster's definition of catfish, and like it means some stupid troll who sits behind their computer.
What's interesting is that it's a noun, not a verb. I always thought it would be you catfish somebody. Like,
yeah,
it's a verb. Like,
but you are a catfish. It's a noun.
Like, yeah, you catfish
you've been
somebody,
catfished.
and therefore you are a catfish. That doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah, I've never heard
it. Should be the verb.
Yeah.
But then I don't think you saw this part. These are words that were also added.
Oh no.
Big data, which is 2 words.
What does that mean?
That's
a phrase. See, why is that in the dictionary? Is it like a hyphenated word?
No.
Compound.
There's
compound?
no hyphen here. Crowdfunding, fracking.
What?
It's like a.
Frack. It means like the F word, right?
Yeah.
From
that's from
Battlestar Galactica.
But I think this is something with, I don't know, freegan? I don't know what that is.
You know what we can do is look it up. Gross.
Gamification, hashtag,
Ew.
faux.
I have never hashtagged and I feel so good about that. The show is never going to.
Poutine?
Wedding?
Poutine, Poutine, selfie, social networking. Social networking to me that makes sense. Because that is a broad thing that's super big part of our society today. There are so many different social networks.
Well, and people that speak other languages, there should be a term that social networking, it makes sense to them.
Exactly.
There is a translation
right.
because I almost said MySpace. Nope. Zynga, MySpace, not so much. But like Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, all these little social network things, like that's exactly how they advertise now.
Right.
You know, that's a real thing. But like catfish, get out of here.
Yeah.
Plooping, whatever the hell it was.
No, and then they end with steampunk, turducken, which is a turkey, duck, and chicken. That's a word now.
That's okay.
And these last two, tweep. What's a tweep?
Is that like tweeting?
And youper. Y-O-P-E-R.
That's like euchre.
I feel like these are joke words. No one says these. Youper? I've never heard that before in my entire life. It's in the dictionary now.
You're making us look like fools. Fools!
Yeah.
Oh, man. Okay, well, that was
fun. So that's pretty much it. Oh, I did want to end on Ant-Man loses Edgar Wright as director, which is really bad news for anyone interested in the Marvel Universe, because...
Are many people interested in Ant-Man?
No, but no one was interested in Guardians of the Galaxy either until trailers came out and everyone's like, Guardians of the Galaxy, Chris
If they
Pratt.
keep Paul Rudd as Ant-Man, I will go see it.
Well,
I love you, Paul
Edgar
Rudd.
Wright got Paul Rudd on board. Maybe Paul Rudd leaves now that Edgar Wright left.
Well, then I don't want to see it anymore.
That's unfortunate. Anyway, so thank you for watching. And, this could be the first of tens of videos that we do.
Hey.
So, anyway, comment if there's something you wish that we had talked about that we didn't, or that you'd like to hear us talk about in the future.
Or if there's something that was like, no, that part was really boring, you can just tell us.
Yeah, we don't care. We're going to do it anyway, probably.